Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors, LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC. Annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network, LLC.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your fly. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing bottom line. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It's time to wake up with the Morning Boys on Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
Good Monday morning and welcome into the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It is the Morning Boys with Ryan Hickey right here, exclusively on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Hopefully you had a enjoyable, fun, relaxing weekend. Got to go to the beach, got to enjoy the good weather, got to do whatever you wanted to do, obviously in a safe and socially distant manner. And we appreciate you starting your week right here with us on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. If you're a first-time listener, welcome. We appreciate you having you in, and hopefully we can keep you here for at least the next 2 hours as we are here till 11 a.m. on the East Coast. With, unfortunately, a lot to get into. Usually, obviously, it's always good when there's a lot of sports news going on. It always makes the show. It makes honestly my job a lot easier. There's more to react to. You can really kind of dive in and go real deep on a few topics rather than sometimes, other weeks, especially with no sports for 4 months. Some shows, as I'm sure you can imagine, sure you can listen to, were tougher to come up with than others. But unfortunately, like I said, this is one of those shows where in theory it should be good because there's a lot of news to talk about. A lot of college football news specifically. But unfortunately, all that news is not really good at all if you're a college football fan. At this point, the season is all but dead. It's all but over. We are just waiting for the official word from the Big Ten, from any of the other Power 5 conferences. And so far, at least from all the reports you hear, from all of the tweets you see, it is not good. So we will talk about what the hell happened, because that's one of my biggest takeaways. We'll get that here. We'll try to get some answers from Bill Bender, a great college football reporter, national college football for the Sporting News. He'll join us in just about a half hour, 9:40 or so, on the East Coast here, because I feel, I try to come to this show with answers. I try to at least look at, things that happen in the sports world, look at topics, look at breaking news, and at least try to provide some sort of answer, some sort of clarity here, and go from a discussion from there. But I have way more questions than answers. I personally feel blindsided, which I'll get into here to start in just a second. And hopefully Bill can give us some answers of how we got here, what is going on, and really what was the impetus for all of a sudden, it feels like in a blink of an eye, college football going from it's going to start on time, we're going to try to have a season, who knows if we can finish, we'll try to have a season, to then just hours later, all of a sudden the season is not even going to get started. So do that 9:40, 10 o'clock. If you're a big golf fan, a great and exciting golf tournament this weekend out at TPC Harding Park. It's Colin Morikawa wins the PGA Championship. I want to kind of talk about that tournament in this perspective, because if you watch a lot of the coverage, whether it's on ESPN, whether it's on CBS, see a lot of tweets. Obviously, Tiger Woods still has a lot of pull, right? He's still very relevant in the golf world. He's still very relevant to a lot of the casual golf fans. But really, he had a nice showing on Thursday. He was in the mix after the first day of the tournament. But other than that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he really was in the morning groups. He's out, he was out there early, done early, and really was off the relevancy meter in terms of trying to contend for a championship. I'm curious, in your mind, if you're a casual golf fan, does golf still need Tiger Woods, anymore? Does he have to be good for golf to continue to grow their game, to expand their reach to new audiences, and kind of captivate you, the viewer? Does Tiger Woods still have to be good in order for you to watch golf? We'll discuss that at the top of the second hour, 10 o'clock Eastern. 2020 Apocalypse is back. We already have one Final Four, or I should say, one championship slot filled with the 3-seed Sarah Troncalli beating in overtime the number 2 seed Cody Eno. So she is in the championship. We will find out who she'll be facing later on today at 10:20. The number 1 seed Joe Pidell. The lawyer himself, very, very busy these last few weeks working on a moot court debate team. He has been very successful at that, but we'll see if he's in tune with the news, as he will take on the 5 seed Lauren Clark at 10:20 Eastern, with the winner going to the championship round with the crown of 2020 or Apocalypse awaiting them, or a chance to at least crown themselves 2020 Apocalypse. And I want to finish the show with a little bone to pick with certain media personalities in sports, and look at it from the angle of, if you're doing your job, especially as a reporter, that doesn't mean you're rooting for your own job to fail. I'll finish the show, kind of get something off my chest, because I've seen it a bunch now these last few weeks and months, and it's driven me crazy to the point where I really want to just bring it up and address it, kind of get it off my chest. So we'll finish the show with that at 10:40 Eastern. But like I said, once we signed off on Thursday's show, did not think we would be talking anything near what we're going to talk about here a lot in this first hour. And that question is, and that discussion is, essentially, what the hell happened to the college football season? Because personally, from yours truly, I am shocked that essentially we've gone from starting the season, releasing the schedule, practice is starting, to now all of a sudden we're not going to have a season. We're not going to try. The season's over. It's dead. Maybe we'll get spring, maybe not. But college football in the fall is all but over. So, at least to me, this feels like it's come out of nowhere. And I'll say this, at least, obviously we've had a lot of tough shows, right? We've kind of restarted the Morning Boys with myself here, I think right around March, right when the pandemic first started. So we've been on it basically since the beginning. I've had little sports to talk about for the most part. So I feel like, at least personally, maybe I'm wrong. If I am wrong, please let me know. Facebook, Worldwide Sports Network, Twitter, WWSR_radio. WWSRN_radio. Tweet me, write on Facebook, comment if you think I am wrong in this thought that I'm about to put out here, or this assertion I'm about to put out here. But I personally feel the way we've handled the show the last 4 months is that we've looked at the coronavirus, I think, realistically, and its impact on sports, I should say. But I think, there's no hiding or there's no trying to deny the fact that college football especially was going to be the hardest sport to resume during the pandemic. I don't think the strategy, at least for myself, was kind of bury your head in the sand, pretend the virus isn't going on, and just hope it goes away by the time college football starts. I don't think we've kind of been fear-mongers or, being almost too overly dramatic or too overly, I guess dramatic is the right word, too overly dramatic in terms of the impact of coronavirus. Sports cannot resume, freaking out over one test. I feel like for the most part, and again, this is a personal assertion here, that I feel like we've handled it for the most part in a realistic manner. Sports want to resume. Positive tests are going to happen. You got to do the best you can to keep players safe, keep coaches safe, and keep everyone at least safe. So I feel like in at least addressing and recognizing the coronavirus is a real thing. The pandemic is a real thing. It's serious. You can't, it's not something to just sneeze at, or it's not something to just kind of lock yourself in your room for the last 4 months and just kind of not even see the sunlight. But with that said, so I feel like we've been on top of it, right? We've discussed in previous shows the challenges college football has to face. I really thought the conference-only schedule, to me, was the best opportunity for college football to play because all the testing protocols are the same. Once you start playing teams outside your conference, once you start playing teams in lower conferences with smaller budgets and less testing resources, to me, that is where you really put teams at risk. If you have teams like Alabama, like Clemson playing Chattanooga, or, a Division III school or Division 1A school, yeah, their resources aren't going to be the same at an Alabama, at a Clemson. Can't test as regularly. So I really thought, at least for college football to have a chance, I liked the conference-only schedule. And I think, or at least I thought, I should say, that while July was bad, right? July coming off of July 4th, going to middle of July and end of July, we had outbreaks on campuses all around the country. Teams were struggling to even just hold voluntary workouts without players getting sick. I'll be honest, that was really a low point, at least for me, of having confidence that college football could be played this fall. But I'll be honest, I feel like those concerns kind of quieted down. The positive tests around college campuses have kind of slowed down a little bit here in the last few weeks. And at least looking at the landscape of the country and looking at the landscape of these universities, the virus the last few weeks has not gotten worse. In some cases, it's actually gotten better. Look at Northwestern. Northwestern is a perfect example of a team that had a positive test, shut it all down, was quarantining, and realized then that positive test was actually a false positive. No one actually had contracted the virus, which is good. I mean, obviously, rather be safe than sorry, but it's good that you rather have a false positive than a false negative. So Northwestern was back at practice. Ohio State, a team that had to quarantine shut down, they're back at practice. So you had teams starting to come out of this, and at least it seemed to appear to that college football was going to start. Again, who knows once it actually gets started if they can keep players safe and they can finish the season. But it seemed by all indications, once we got past July, and there's really no discussion of canceling the season, moving it to the fall, even delaying it a month or two, it seemed like, okay, we're going to try. We're going to attempt to start. We'll see where we get from there. So to me now, to all of a sudden log on Twitter on Saturday morning to see whether it's the likes of Pete Thamel does a great job at Yahoo, Pat Forty does a great job at Sports Illustrated. They've been all over the impact of the virus in college athletics specifically, tweeting out and saying, industry sources are telling them that basically the season's all but dead. Big Ten is desperate to cancel their season. Feels out of nowhere. And I'm going to ask you, where did this come from? Am I living in I don't think I'm living in some sort of fantasy world here where, again, I had my head buried in the sand and just assumed that, everything's going to be okay. We've laid out the challenges on this show. And with that said, there was still really, I feel like there was no real warning. There was no real inclination that all of a sudden the season was in peril. Dennis Dowd, who's been on the show, does a great job at CBS Sports covering college football specifically. He wrote an article on Saturday talking to two different Power 5 athletic directors. And this is quotes that they told him anonymously in his article. I want to read these for you. So one Power 5 athletic director over the weekend told Dennis Dowd, quote, I think it's inevitable the season will not be played this fall. Another Power 5 athletic director. I'm in the opinion of it's when, not if, the 2020 season is canceled. The MAC, Mid-American Conference, who was the first Division I conference to cancel their fall season, their announcement on Saturday morning adds more momentum to the finish line. I think everyone's medical group is now telling them all the same thing. We have to keep having these same conversations, end quote. So 2 different Power 5 athletic directors are telling Dennis Dodd it's inevitable, essentially the season's dead, and it's a question of when, not if. But here's my question. Where was the sentiment earlier this week? Where was the sentiment last week, 2 weeks ago? Because guess what? Guess what these universities, guess what these conferences did last week? They inspired hope. The Pac-12, the ACC, the Big Ten, the SEC, 4 of the 5 Power 5 conferences, all last week released their schedules. All of them. Pac-12 announced their start September 26th. The Big Ten tried to start on Labor Day weekend. The ACC and the SEC are starting a little later on, but they all released their new schedules. Their 10-game schedules, they all released the different opponents when they're playing. So if this was such a concern, if this was such an inevitability, according to his athletic directors, why would you release the schedule? Not to mention, not only releasing the schedule, they started practice already. Ohio State's at practice. The Big Ten is at practice. How are you starting practice and training camp for a season that is supposed to, if you're Ohio State, and if you're anyone in the Big Ten, starting in less than a month? It's August 10th. Ohio State's playing September 3rd. A lot of the other teams are playing September 5th on Labor Day weekend. How are you starting practice if you have this sentiment, if you have this belief that the season is going to be canceled and it's inevitable that the season is going to be canceled? How? If you were that concerned, if you were that dead set and you had that much conviction that there was no season going to be had this fall, you wouldn't put out the schedule. You wouldn't even allow teams to continue to work out, let alone practice. What are you doing? And now, if you've been on Twitter, especially recently within the last few hours, you've seen a lot of players come out and voice their opinion of they want to play. So here's another question I have. Along with why'd you put out the schedules, why are you allowing teams to practice? How much have players, the ones actually on the field, the ones actually taking the risk, how much have they been consulted through this process? Because guess what? Just 2 weeks ago, when we talked about the Pac-12 players uniting together and putting out their list of demands, it seems like their main concern, forget the revenue, forget the NIL for a second, forget the money aspect, a lot of their concerns, a lot of their demands were centered around protocols for keeping them safe during the pandemic. Different ways that schools can implement protocols to keep the players safe, testing to keep everyone on the same page, and keep transparency basically the main issue, or the main goal, I should say. Excuse me. So now, that's my question. The players are actually taking the risk. Were they consulted at all? Because similar to what the NFL did, we saw the NFL players all tweeting in hashtags they want to play. Major League Baseball tweeted that when and where, when they wanted to play, when they were having their labor negotiations. Football players are doing the same thing. Hashtag I want to play. We want to play. We are united. And now last night, led by Trevor Lawrence, it seems like the players started some sort of a de facto players union. So if they want to play, if they've been given the option to opt out if they don't feel safe, right, which we've seen plenty of players, including prominent players, take that option. So if the players want to play, you give them the option to opt out. What is holding up a fall season? I don't understand. And what I really don't understand is this enlightenment, is this falling in love with aspect of spring football. Because according to the reports you hear, according to the reporters that are especially tied into the Big Ten, the new Big Ten commissioner, Kevin Warren, is a big fan, a big proponent of spring football. Now, I've talked about it on the show. We've talked about it weeks ago. Would a spring football season be a good idea? And I'll be honest. I'm going to backtrack here. I thought about it. Pete Thamel wrote some great articles about advocating for spring football. I really did think, you know what, maybe this is a viable option. But the more I think about it, now we're this close. You think about the real challenges, and when you hear athletic directors like Penn State's Sandy Barber saying spring is a last resort, thought about it more, you did some more research, you understand why it's a last resort. it really is going to be very difficult to pull off a spring season. No guarantee the virus will be any better in February, March than it is right now. No guarantee a vaccine will be created, let alone be effective. And you're going to have a significantly shorter season. Significantly. And we have 10 games. I thought that was pretty legitimate. Who knows? You could have 6 games, let alone all the players that would leave. So you go to the draft and try to keep their draft stock high. Not to mention playing two seasons in a calendar year. So I'll be honest, hearing this news over the weekend, especially on Saturday, and now seeing the players trying their hardest to revive the season, but constantly seeing reports that the season is basically dead on arrival. We're just waiting now for official word. I am blown away. I am shocked, flabbergasted, floored. Because I'll be honest, I didn't see this coming. Thought we had our ear to the ground. I thought we'd been doing a good job of monitoring the situation. But even myself, I am floored and shocked that we have come to this conclusion on August 10th. I'm not sure what happened to delaying the season. Remember, we had all these different ideas. We had Brett McMurphy on, who was one of the first reporters to discuss the different options college football had, including delaying it until October, constantly putting the season back, maybe even putting half the season in the fall, half the season in the spring. And now it feels like college football and their university presidents and their athletic directors and the commissioners of the different conferences are all just bypassing all those different ideas they threw out there in March and April and just going right to canceling the season. Which I think if they cancel this fall season, I don't think a spring season is going to work and come to light, which means we will be without college football for a full calendar year. From 2019 to 2021. It's going to be a long, long time without, to me, personally, the greatest sport that there is in this country. So I'm curious, what are your emotions? Because at least for me, again, I was taken back, shocked, very, very disappointed, very depressed. So I'd love to get just your emotions because, again, I don't know about yourself. For me, I was definitely shocked by this decision. I didn't see it coming. I feel blindsided. And should they try to have a college football season this fall? I'm 100% on that side. I think they should absolutely try. Again, who knows if it's even possible? Who knows if the NFL can even get a season off? To me, seeing the players wanting to play, looking that spring is not really, to me at least, a real option, I think they should try. If they try, it doesn't work out, okay. What are you going to do? We're in a pandemic. The virus wins as usual. At least we tried. At least you tried. To basically just punt and basically almost pull the rug out from everyone and having these emergency meetings and making these decisions so swiftly, and it feels, again, out of nowhere. It really stings. It really hurts. So I'm curious your thoughts. Should they even try to have a college football season this fall? Should we try to push through and play and see what happens? Try to punt to the spring, wait till 2021? And what are your emotions? Because I know for me, I am depressed, I am sad, and definitely confused for sure. So we'll get your thoughts, whether it's Worldwide Sports Radio Network on Facebook, WWSRN_radio on Twitter. And when we come back, there is one report, one tweet I saw that gave me pause and made me think. Is there a bigger issue than just the coronavirus that is motivating university presidents, because they're really the ones in charge, that is motivating university presidents to cancel the college football season? I'll tell you what that one aspect is. Again, greater concern to university presidents than the coronavirus and a possible, potentially the reason why college football will not be played this fall. I'll tell you what it is in the Morning Boys Ryan Hickey return right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, Congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. Waking up every day, lifting him from the bed to the wheelchair to the car to get him to therapy on time, it's no small task between the doctors and the diagnosis, but nothing can disable this love. This is my big brother, my hero. He's part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. See, there's no time for tired. This starts again tomorrow. He'll be waiting for me. I wake up for him. I know he needs me. But I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 877-333-5885. Caregiving Resource Center. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Oh, tell the world I see. With an emoji. To stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth? You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel? Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It's time to wake up with the Morning Boys on Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
One more drink, one more Bacardi, one more dance at this.
And we are back here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, trying to put the pieces together of what led to all of a sudden, it feels like the sudden downfall and the sudden collapse of a 2020 college football season, at least this fall. Seems from all the reports you read, all the tweets that you see being published, the season is all but dead. It is all but over. We are waiting the official word from whether it's the Pac-12 conference to be the first Power 5 to announce that they are not playing fall sports, the Big Ten, or possibly all 5 of the Power 5 conferences with a united message that there is no college football at all this fall, which we're talking and we're reacting to getting your emotions to. Because personally for me, blindsided, shocked, because this feels like it came out of nowhere. We'll try to get some answers in just about 10 minutes or so. Bill Bender, Sporting News National College Football Reporter, will try to give us some answers. Is this surprising? Should we really be shocked? And really what led to all of a sudden what feels like to me at least this rapid development that went from we're going to start a season, we're going to put the schedule out, we're going to start practices. And a few hours later, a few days later, you know what, screw it, we're done. No college football this fall. So getting your thoughts, getting your reaction, whether it's on Facebook, Worldwide Sports Network, Twitter, WWSRN_radio. You want to tweet me personally, Ryan_Hickey, and the number 3, getting your reaction. So, obviously, at least my main premise in the open here was obviously the concerns, the main concern for canceling the season was because of the coronavirus. Obviously, we're in a pandemic. Affects everyone, and football, as we know, is the one sport that is essentially the perfect spreader of the virus. Tough, especially to keep college kids safe. There's no bubble. You know, a lot of these big time universities will have thousands and thousands and thousands of students coming back to them within the next few weeks here. So really, that was always going to be the toughest sport to resume, always going to be the toughest sport to get up and running. And, okay, fine. Like I said, I'm still very, very hurt. It stings to hear the news that there's no college football this fall. But, it is a virus. It is a pandemic. Fine. I'll have to get over it. I'll have to suck it up. But there's one aspect that was also being floated out on Twitter this weekend that I think if this is the reason, if there's one concern that university presidents are worried about that's more than the coronavirus, if this is truly the real reason why all of a sudden college football is in peril, it's unacceptable. It's disgusting. And I'll tell you what it is. So Matt Hayes, he's a senior college football reporter for Bleacher Report. When he floated this out there on Saturday afternoon, after a lot of the Twitter buzz, after a lot of the discussion has been, all of a sudden university presidents now are concerned about the virus. They are concerned that they can't keep their players safe. They are going to be held liable. And because of that, they don't want to pursue and continue and try to have a college football season this fall. Matt Hayes received a text from a Power 5 athletic director. And I want to read you this tweet that he put out and read you the text. Because I'll tell you, if this is truly the reason, this is going to be really bad. And I'm not talking about, really bad for the future of college sports. I'm talking about really bad from the reaction, the blowback these universities are going to get. So this is what a Power 5 athletic director texted Matt Hayes. He said, quote, "You and your colleagues are chasing the wrong story. The virus alone is enough to stop the season, but presidents are terrified of players organizing. It's a paradigm shift to change amateur sports. You potentially lose one season with the virus. You lose an entire framework of your mission statement with players organizing. They need time to figure out how to attack it." So the coronavirus, yes, can stop the season dead in its tracks. Yes, it is enough to put the fear of God in university presidents to really look out and be concerned about the health of their players out on the field. But put the coronavirus aside. Put the health concerns aside. The bigger concern, at least with a Power 5 AD, told Matt Hayes, and you think this Power 5 AD is in the know. He's someone who's had discussions, who's close with his university president. He's saying the bigger concern for university presidents, the ones ultimately that are going to make the call on a season or not, their bigger concern, they are terrified of players organizing. They are terrified of players coming together and finally trying to change the landscape and get rid of this dopey, phony amateur sports tag that hangs over these athletes that prevents them from getting the proper revenue they deserve. Think about that. Because for years and centuries, these schools have made tons and tons of money, hand over fist, on free labor, essentially. They are so frightened of players actually getting what they deserve, of getting equal rights to literally anyone else in this country. Because what other job do you bring in a ton of revenue? Do you do your job, help your company be successful, and you see 0 cents of it? You don't see a dime of it. Who works for free? So because college universities have gotten so used to this living of free labor, bringing in hundreds or at least tens of millions of dollars year after year after year, now they don't want to pay for it. Now they said, you know what? In theory, it's cheaper to not play a season, lose. In some cases, you have Wisconsin, you have Penn State claim that they will lose $100 million alone if fans aren't in the stands this year. They scrap it all, lose the TV revenue, lose the conference revenue. In their mind, it's cheaper to not play than it is to give the athletes their proper due. And that is just, I'm sorry, that's disgusting. That is unacceptable, and that's absolutely disgusting if that's the case. And what I don't understand, from my perspective, is that no matter what these university presidents are going to do, they can kick and scream all they want. Players are getting paid next year, let alone. This time next year, players will be getting paid. Because states have taken it into their own hands, have enacted laws that say you cannot penalize and you cannot prevent students from getting money based on their own name, image, and likeness. So if a company wants to sponsor a player, they have the right to do so. That player has the right to take the money and advocate and sponsor and do whatever a spokesman for that company does. Just like everybody else in this country. If you're great at science and NASA wants to sponsor you and pay you to do some sort of project while you're a student in college, guess what? Guess what schools don't say? No, you can't do that. If anything, they laud that. They brag about that. Oh, one of our students is working for NASA. They're getting paid to work on this project. Oh, one of our students is great in the medical field. They're working on this experimental drug to help everyone with depression or help everyone with cancer. Athletics is the only venture in this entire country, no matter what line of work you're in, where anyone who wants to make money off just being themselves can't do so. Can't do so. If you're Johnny Manziel, when he was exploding at Texas A&M, if someone wants to pay you for an autograph, you can't do it. If someone wants to, a local deli wants to say, hey, the official deli of Johnny Manziel, he goes here, you profit off of just being yourself, being a celebrity in your local town, can't do it. And now we may not have college football because these university presidents, these schools are so scared that the money's going to be leaving their pockets and going to the pockets of the players that actually deserve the money. They said, screw it, we're not playing this year. We need time to figure this out. We need time to squash this. But this is what I don't get. It's coming anyway. July 2021, these players are getting paid. Because once the first state, I forget, I apologize, I think it's Florida, is the first state where their bill has passed, and it's going to law July 2021. And once the first state happens, these other states are not going to get left behind. Because guess what? If Florida currently is the only school for 2 or 3 years where players can actually make money, guess where a lot of players are going to go to school in? And a lot of these other conferences, a lot of these other schools aren't losing money, aren't losing recruits because they can't give the players the same rights and opportunities that schools in Florida can. So it's coming. Name, image, and likeness is coming this time next year, whether you like it or not, if you're a university president. So what are you kicking and screaming about? Do you know how hard it is to get agreement on political sides by both sides? Democrats, Republicans, left, right? It's impossible. Anything, right? The color of the sky, no one can agree upon. But guess what everyone agrees upon in these political realms? College athletes getting paid. Because guess what? These bills that have been proposed in these different states have passed unanimously, have gone through like that. Because everyone agrees and realizes the absurdity that free labor with these, especially with college football, it is. That they aren't allowed to make money off their own name, image, and likeness. So if there's one issue that everyone agrees upon, and that's players should be able to profit off themselves, and the only ones kicking and screaming, the only ones pushing back are these schools and the university presidents, guess what? I truly believe that while the coronavirus concerns are real, they are there, and they are serious. I believe what this Power 5 athletic director told Matt Hayes. I believe that the real reason is that they don't want these players to get more power. They don't want to pay the players. And essentially, if they have a college football season this year, they are admitting amateur status is not real. Amateur status is a fraud. Because for years and years and years, they said these are just athletes. These are just students, that play football. Sure, they happen to be great. They happen to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars for the university. But they are just students first that happen to play football. But now if you play in a pandemic, now if you play because the money depends on it, all of a sudden, the amateur status that, students just wanted to play goes out the window. They are treated differently. Everyone knows it already. No one wants to admit it. No one wants to say the silent part out loud. And in doing so, university presidents are willing to tank the season if it means not admitting that players are essentially professionals, that players deserve rights, deserve payments, and are willing to take college football away this fall in order to hold on to that for one more year. So let's get your thoughts on that. If you believe that, if that angers you even more, because for me, it fires me up. Oh, man, this is frustrating for sure. We'll try to get some answers. Next, we'll have Bill Bender, Sporting News, National College Football reporter. We'll try to give us some sort of answers. Maybe it's the coronavirus concerns. Maybe it's the unionization concerns. We'll get Bill's thoughts when the Morning Boys Ryan Hickey return right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
The Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com, or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave. But unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It's time to wake up with the Morning Boys on Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
And we're back here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, dedicating the whole entire first hour to trying to put the pieces together, come to a conclusion of basically how we go from the schedule getting released in a lot of different Power 5 conferences. Practice is actually starting in the Big Ten, to then days later, and even in some cases hours later, the college football season in peril. Essentially, according to some sources, that the season being canceled is inevitable at this point. And we try to put those pieces together, try to answer those questions with the great Bill Bender, Sporting News National College Football Reporter. Follow Bill and all his great information on Twitter at BillBender92. We welcome in Bill. Bill, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I don't want to say well, but like everybody else, it's that just empty feeling that you know what's coming and you're just kind of waiting on it to happen. And then especially for somebody who went to a Mid-American Conference school and has followed Big Ten football his whole life, it hurts, man. I'm really hurting right now, so you need to cheer me up a little bit at least.
Well, Bill, I'll be honest. I don't know if I can do that because I'll be honest, unless you can tell us that this is, a miracle is going to happen in the next few hours here, that the Big Ten is actually going to change course. We might have to. We'll try about this. We'll try to cheer each other up. Maybe we'll do a team effort. Hopefully, by the end of this interview, we can both feel a little better. But I'm with you. I am very down. I'll be honest. This is honestly one of the worst days of 2020 for me personally, as a huge college football fan. To hear that the season essentially is in peril. So I'll ask you. Essentially, as you said, you went to Ohio University, I believe. That's correct.
Yep.
All right. So obviously, you're right there with the MAC. They're the first FBS conference to cancel their season. And then right in the heart of Big Ten country, we hear that the Big Ten is the first and really has a lot of momentum to cancel the season. So I'll be honest, we started the show with this. So I was just asking, does anyone else feel blindsided by this? Because personally, that's how I felt. That was my first reaction, was to kind of feel shocked, feel blindsided by this news, because I didn't really see it coming. Did you see something like this happening within, the last few hours, or are you equally as shocked?
Well, I'm not shocked, just because I'd maintained for a couple months now that I didn't think they were going to play. But this, like you said, they released a schedule last week. The one thing that jumped out about the schedule was I thought the Big Ten built itself some time, because even though they had it starting on September 3rd, I think most schedules, you start that, and I said all along, you got to start it the last week of September and early October, see where we're at. And instead, we get a full schedule that starts on Labor Day week. And I don't know about you, Ryan, but there was no way that Ohio State and Illinois were going to play before Labor Day.
So I'll say this, Bill. I actually like that, because for me, you talk about time. I actually like the early start, because to me, that's what it did. It bought them. So it was like 10 games, and I believe in 14 weeks. But if you moved the Big Ten championship back, I think it gave them almost 6 or 7, basically essentially bye weeks, to where, God forbid, if an outbreak does happen or you want to be extra cautious, you can cancel games and still make them up later on. So to me, at least, I thought the Big Ten had it right with all the schedules. You start early, so that way, worst case scenario, like you said, right. I mean, the odds of them starting on Labor Day is small, but if they can't do it, okay, fine. You push those games back to the end of the year, and you basically keep on kicking the can down the road. So at least I had some optimism that they were starting that early. But I guess you don't feel that same sentiment.
No, I didn't. I didn't think they were going to start early, because we haven't seen anybody practice. We haven't seen a tackle. That's why I keep telling people, when I see a tackle, I'll let you know. But with all of that, I just didn't think they'd start on time. I like what they did, though, to your point of building the time factor in there. But it seems like it's all for naught. I mean, this is coming down to a couple things. There's obviously more at work than just COVID here. There is the player movement factor. You saw last night a sweeping movement from some of the game's biggest stars. Like Trevor Lawrence doesn't have to lead that movement. Justin Fields doesn't have to lead that movement. But those guys want to play. And I think what you're seeing is the schools with the $100 million revenues and the schools with the studs that are capable of winning this thing, they want to play, and to no surprise. And I think that's going to be the next big debate is, are they going to try to cobble together some makeshift league for those schools that want to play?
So I guess we'll go right there then. So how much weight, or how much pause do you think that this player movement, again, led by a guy in Trevor Lawrence who doesn't need to play, essentially is the one player who can afford to not play another snap and will still go number 1 overall, if anything, playing would only hurt his stock, not really help it anymore. How much weight do you think this new player movement, if anything, could maybe change the tide and change the momentum of what it feels like inevitably the Big Ten, followed by everyone else, canceling their season? Is there any hope that this newfound player movement developed essentially late last night could really change the tide?
I think no, not this year, but maybe future seasons, because I think what it contradicts in some ways is the way the Pac-12 came out, and they won it a lot, right?
Right.
That probably got the commissioner's attention, and I don't think they were going to get 50% of the revenue anytime soon. Now, what Trevor Lawrence and Najee Harris and Justin Fields and several others tweeted out last night seemed like a perfectly reasonable plan that could have been enacted over the last 6 months. Yes, let players opt out. Yes, let them not lose a scholarship. Yes, let's work toward a College Football Players Association so their voice can be heard when something like this happens. Absolutely, all of those things should happen. But why are we doing this in the middle of August and not, when it's time to make these decisions? You know what I just, it's a disjointedness from the top. And I think, some of the to-do list for college football in the offseason will be to address player unions, to get a college football commissioner, to figure out the finances, because they're going to take a huge hit. And then you wonder about the Power 5, Group of 5 separation. But I'm less about that, because I think the Group of 5 needs the Power 5, and in some ways, vice versa. You're going to need that money in those games in the future.
It's a good point. We're talking about Bill Bender, Sporting News, National College Football reporter, at BillBender92 on Twitter. So, Bill, I'm curious. I actually was reading an article this morning. I apologize, forget the author, but it's on Cleveland.com. And they're making the argument that a player union maybe could actually help universities in the span that, or in the sense that right now, especially because the NCAA put the new requirement that schools cannot have student signed waivers. So essentially, that puts all the liability if players get sick, if they get seriously sick, on the schools. So he was making the point that a player union can actually help in the long run, because now all of a sudden, essentially the players are taking on some of the risks, similar to baseball, similar to NBA, NFL. We all see players are assuming some sort of risk here. Do you think in the long run, and again, like you just said earlier, I guess it's too late for this season, but in the long run, would a union actually not just benefit the players, because I think that's obvious, but benefit these universities as working with a partnership instead of essentially, what they have been with just not a dictatorship, but essentially, free labor?
Yeah, I mean, this is part of where we're at. I think the likeness discussion was a good step. I thought college football was moving in the right direction on those things with player likeness and potential compensation down the line. I mean, the transfer rules have been relaxed greatly, which all benefit the student athlete. And I mean, people are going to go straight to the NCAA and blame them, but it's not the NCAA. It's the school presidents. It's the conference commissioners. And yes, the NCAA governs all over the top of that, but until there's a college football player or a college football commissioner to sort all this out, you're going to run into the same problems. I mean, look at the difference. I mean, a couple people were tweeting about this and getting upset, but I mean, the NFL, by all standards so far, has done okay, right? I mean, they let players opt out. They're having training camp. They may be able to play. I think the NFL is going to end up pushing through it and play.
I would agree. I mean, we'll see if they can finish. I mean, that's a question. We don't even know if they can finish. Right? I mean, obviously the NFL has they have a lot more advantages than college football. College football obviously is going to be the hardest of any sport to resume, just because, I mean, you're working with free labor. These schools, ironically enough, is it fair to say this statement, Bill? Is it fair to say that, ironically, because schools have pushed amateur status now for essentially centuries, since college sports have been around, they've prided themselves on amateurs playing the sport. They're just students that happen to play sports that happen to generate millions of dollars of revenue for these schools year in and year out, but they were just students. They were treated like everyone else. Is that sentiment finally coming back to bite them, in a sense that if they just recognize students as maybe semi-professionals, essentially let students benefit off NLI, that maybe they can actually pull off having a season, whether it's a bubble, whether it's just treating football players differently than regular students, as we all know they are? Is it basically fair to say that essentially because this amateur status that schools have relied upon for centuries is finally coming back to bite them?
Yeah, I mean, that's all true things. I mean, it's just one of those environments where they're not just students. We all know that. And they're not treated just like students either, though. I mean, that's the other part.
Right.
They get full scholarships, they get athletic training, all those kind of things. And I think it's that. But they deserve more than what they're getting is the general consensus that we all should be able to reach now. That, yeah, they should probably be compensated in some way. I don't know if 50% of the revenue is ever going to happen, just because, remember, football funds a lot of those other athletic programs. So, yeah, it's just devastating that they're probably not going to play college football this year. It's devastating from the standpoint that it could impact colleges for years to come. Could lead to some football programs going under. I don't know if we'll have 130 football programs next year. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's a great point. A very unintended consequence for sure. Talking about Bill Bender, Sporting News National College Football reporter. So, Bill, I guess like let's just go back to what you said right there, because obviously right, the Pac-12, when they put out their list of demands, I thought for the most part a lot of them made sense. A lot of COVID requirements, opt-out requirements. But the one that took all the headlines, of course, the one that distracted away from basically everything else, was that 50% revenue split. So I'm curious, is that what's holding up these university presidents? Because name, image, and likeness, whether university presidents want it happening or not, it's coming down the pike. I believe Florida is the state next year where July 2021 it's a law. And so you got to think every other school is not going to have Florida benefit while they can't. So we got to think at the latest July of next year, this time next year, we will have some sort of rule in place allowing name, image, likeness, and players to benefit from that in all sports. So what is I guess I'll throw it to this way first. Do you think that the money aspect is a bigger concern for these university presidents and a bigger driving force to cancel the season than actually safety concerns about coronavirus?
I mean, yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think that's they are most concerned about the coronavirus because, like I said, from the liability standpoint there, all it takes is one student athlete being put on a ventilator or dying, and you never know. And I think that is a big part of it. Now, like I said, underneath that, yes, the money, the player unionization, the impact on the university from a financial standpoint, all of those things are at work. But I still think, at the end of the day, college football was at the mercy of a once-in-a-100-year pandemic, and the testing protocols were never really unified. That was another problem along the way. Mm-hmm. And, you got to face another reality here that's really ugly is this still might be around next year. And unless there's a vaccine, and I hate to put it that bluntly, unless there's a vaccine that works, this COVID may be around next year. You just don't know. I mean, if you would have asked me this question in March, I would have said, yeah, it's so far away, we don't have to worry about it. But, I mean, it's been going on this long. It is what it is.
Right. So I guess in my aspect is I guess believe the sentiment that I think the money is the bigger aspect and players' rights and unifying it is almost a bigger concern, because I'll put it this way, at least, and I'll see if you agree. I'll ask you this. What changed between basically middle of July, right, when there was some real serious concerns? There's outbreaks at schools happening. The South especially was really running rampant with coronavirus. I think middle of July was probably the lowest point before this, to where we had optimism that college football could start. But we got past it. It slowed down. You see even schools like, Northwestern have false positives and come back. Ohio State, which was hit hard, is practicing. But now all of a sudden it feels like, out of nowhere, they're just like, we're done. This is over. Is it like, so I guess my question is, like, nothing happened COVID-wise to kind of spur this change. Would you agree with that, I guess?
I mean, nothing happened in terms of the numbers didn't go down enough. I mean, there was still...
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of, it didn't go down. I mean, we're still dealing with, I mean, not quarantine levels, but yeah, the cases, it's not like COVID numbers have gone dramatically down, at least here in Ohio. I mean, I know in Ohio and PA and Michigan, the numbers are still what they are. I guess that's what, but to your point, yeah, I mean, nothing really changed from last week to this week or a month ago. I just think that the plan, I don't think the plan was ever to try to play college football if they were dragging their feet that much. I mean, I think they kept kicking the can, so to speak. You've seen that article written a few times, and by the time it came to make a decision, I mean, there are some people that think making a decision now is too early, but this is the same. We kind of knew middle of August some tough decisions were going to be made. So I guess I disagree with that sentiment a little bit, because okay. I mean, this is kind of where we're at. You got to have a decision one way or the other.
Right. So I'll ask you this then. Big Ten, ACC, and SEC specifically put out their schedules last week. Ohio State, a team right in your backyard, started practicing. And the Big Ten started practicing. Like you said, they have games in less than a month. Why start practice? Why put the schedules out if they were essentially this fatalistic? If you listen to what athletic directors are saying now in different, reporters in different stories, you're basically saying it's inevitable the season's going to be canceled. If they feel it was so inevitable, why release a schedule? Why start practice?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, and I figured the schedules were going to come out just so we had something to plan around. And again, that late September start seemed like the best way to do it. But again, they weren't on the same page. Five conferences, 5 different pages. 5 conferences still not on the same page right now.
Yeah.
And that's another big issue with the sport. And again, the commissioner could have solved that. Yet when you have 5 different messages not working together, this is the end result. So it's not surprising to me in a lot of ways. I guess I'm mad and upset like everybody else, but surprised isn't an emotion I'm feeling.
That's fair. I guess maybe to me, like I said, I saw those schedule releases. I saw practice starting it as almost like a glimmer of hope that they're going to start, and we'll see what can happen. But I guess maybe, at least maybe that is personally why I feel like it's more surprised and more shocked maybe than others, especially it sounds like yourself, just because they did give you all these sort of different reasons to look optimistically that a season could start, and we'll see what happens, but at least it will start. We are talking with Bill Bender here of Sporting News. So, Bill, I ask 2 more questions for you. How much, if any, do you think were the players consulted whether to play or not to play?
Obviously not much. Between the Pac-12, I guess they were roped in a little bit, but in the Big Ten I think Kevin Warren's very progressive, and he's going to continue to involve players. But I mean, their message is all over the place too. I mean, I understand the opt-outs totally, but when you form a union, you have to be organized, and it sounds like they're in the fledgling process of that happening. But when Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields step out and say that, that's a good thing for the future. But that's going to require a lot more organization before they even get close to some of those long-term goals that they're seeking.
I'll finish up with this, Bill, because you just said on Kevin Warren, you brought it up as a progressive commissioner taking over for the Big Ten. It sounds like he is a big proponent of spring football. I'm curious because I've gone back and forth, and now I think I've settled on the opinion that I don't really see spring football as a feasible option. Is a spring football season even worth it in your mind?
No. I think you just gear up for next year. I mean, I think you could do a 6 or 7 game thing that just doesn't feel the same. And guys, the NFL is not going to wait. They'll take the players that are going to go to the NFL and get ready for the NFL. Will go do that. So I think it'll just feel watered down in a lot of ways and just not the same. And if you're going to cancel now, I think the best option is to do everything to lock it down so that you can actually have a full season next year and not face kind of what college basketball is going to be facing here in a couple months as well.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, this college sports, like I said, if anything, this pandemic has highlighted just the inefficiency at best, and to put it really nicely, the inefficiency that it basically runs through the entire organization when you have almost essentially 130 schools working on their own. Like you said, I mean, the 5 major conferences can't even agree on anything. Big Ten's announcing conference-only schedules, then everyone else is shocked. Now we have, the Big Ten trying to cancel their season, and everyone else sounds like they're trying. I guess I'll ask you this, Bill. I apologize. One last question. I meant to ask this, and it just popped in my head. From all these reports, what are we waiting on now? It sounds like the Big Ten is gearing up to cancel the season. I'm just seeing now on Twitter that apparently Dan Patrick, according to his sources, the Big Ten voted 12-2 to postpone the season, with Nebraska and Iowa the only 2 that voted to play. So it sounds like the season for the Big Ten is going to be canceled. What are we waiting on? What's the wait?
Well, I mean, you got to make it official. And everybody jumps the gun on reporting anyway. So, I mean, yeah, there's sources leaking all over the place. But until when it's official, it's official. And I would anticipate Big Ten and Pac-12 go first, and then the next 3 will hold out and try to get something going. But the dominoes are going to fall at some point. I don't know if you can legitimize a college football season with 2 leagues playing. And that's where we're at. And it's an unfortunate scenario, but this is what happens when people don't work together. So, again, I mean, yeah, hurt and all those kind of things. But if you're asking me if I'm surprised, no, I'm really not. Just because, I mean, when this started with the scheduling process when they weren't working together there, or the COVID guidelines when they weren't working together there, why would they work together in terms of trying to save the season? And that's kind of where we're at.
Just amazing. 5 months, Bill. You think football is the one sport that had the biggest benefit of time. 5 months couldn't figure it out, and now here we are. I'll ask you this, Bill. Do you feel any better? Because I'll be honest, I don't.
No, it didn't help. Now I got to jump into an editorial meeting here where I'm not going to feel any better talking about it there.
Oh.
But thanks for having me on. I mean, I know it is what it is, and like I said, and we'll get through it, and hopefully you and I can get together down the line and talk about some real football.
Yes, fingers crossed. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Bill, we appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry we couldn't make each other cheer or happy at least, but hopefully, like I said, fingers crossed, sooner rather than later, we'll be talking some football. Really do appreciate you coming on, and sad day for everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. The great Bill Bender, Sporting News college football reporter, lays it out. I mean, he said it. He wasn't surprised. I was definitely more surprised than him that the season is basically at the point where it is now of not happening. But I mean, he basically hinted out, like, listen, the writing's on the wall. No one could get it. No one could agree. The challenges were massive, and essentially no one tried to face them head on. And now here we are with a college football-less fall coming up. Great. 2020 continues to be the best. All right. So we'll transition from college football, talk about some golf. Let's talk optimistically here. Having some sort of, like, I got to cheer myself up. This has been a very depressing first hour, cannot lie. Golf, a great PGA championship. It just happened and concluded last night with Colin Morikawa winning his first major tournament. Does golf need Tiger Woods to be relevant? We'll get your thoughts on the Morning Boys Ryan Hickey return right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It's time to wake up with the Morning Boys on Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
I'm sorry, I had to do it. I gotta hear it. If we go an entire fall without hearing the greatest theme song, the SEC on CBS music, I don't know if I can make it to 2020, I'll be honest. It's already close. I promise you I'm getting there. I am ready to pull the plug. Oh, drink it in if you're a college football fan. This is cathartic, at least for me. I hope it is for you. To at least hear it once in 2020. Oh, man. We brought Bill Bender on to give us some answers. We both try to cheer each other up. Those answers, let's say, did not bring joy to either of us as we sit and face the reality that college football in the fall is essentially over. It is over. It is over. It is done. It is dead. In the words of Michael Scott, it's over. We are screwed. And that is the perfect way I feel like you can describe this college football season being dead. But I will say this. I've been talking to, I'll say a source. I do have one industry college football source. And he's been talking to a few of his own sources. And I guess the reception to a spring season by a lot of different people of power in different conferences is actually, the reception is actually better than I would expect personally. I asked Bill Bender. He thought a spring season wasn't even worth it. I would agree. I think at this point, pack it up. Let's get to 2021 in the fall. Don't even try a spring season. It'd be 5-6 games at the most. It's with who knows how many players would opt out. But one person I know, again, a very respected industry source, is saying that, again, more and more conferences are receptive now that the fall is essentially dead. More receptive, and they at least have talked to even some people of power, have talked to teams that players are more open to play in the spring. So we'll see what happens if a spring season is possible, it's feasible. We'll see what rosters look like, if there's even enough players that want to play. Because think about this, not only would you have probably way more players opt out if there's a spring season to get ready for the NFL draft. Think about this. You would also have players opting out because now, if you're a prominent player, let's say you're not draft eligible. Let's say you're a sophomore. You had a great freshman year, a great sophomore year, and you're really coming into your own. This is going to be the year that really catapults you to maybe a first-round draft pick. Why would you play 2 seasons, essentially just months apart? You play a fall season, let's say maybe March to April or a March to May, a few-month break, and then play again in the fall and September. So you have players opt out just because they rather just get ready and gear up for the fall. Not want to play 5, 6, 7 games, just get their body ready to gear up for a fall 2021 season and try to, put their best foot forward there, try to be as healthy and in their best shape for that. So we'll see. I don't believe a spring season is feasible. We'll get your thoughts. Do you think a spring season is possible? Is it necessary for college football? And what are your reaction? What is your reaction now that you hear the college football season is essentially dead? I am one of depression. I am one of shock. I do feel personally blindsided, but I'd love to get your thoughts. Worldwide Sports Network on Facebook, WWSRN_radio on Twitter, or if you want to tweet me, Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. I want to ask you this question. Actually, I want to say I'll save Tiger Woods for the end. I don't have a lot of time here. I'll save Tiger Woods, and does golf need Tiger Woods for 10:40? I will say this, keeping on the college football theme. There is one aspect that has driven me insane, up a wall on social media that has happened not just this week, but in weeks past leading up to this point. And that is people in the media. Well, we won't call them reporters because they're not reporters. They're more analysts. They are more in the roles of watching the games and reacting to them. Not talk show hosts, but, they're more inside. The TV analysts you see. For example, Joel Klatt, a great college football analyst for Fox. Kyle Brandt, great on the NFL Network. On the Good Morning Football Show, Kyle Brandt, Joe Klatt, and plenty of others have media shamed, have Twitter shamed, and it's actually tried to blame sports reporters doing their jobs, which are, if you are a reporter, you report the facts. That is your goal. There's no opinion, there's no conjecture. What you do is you report the facts. And if you're a college football reporter, really, I'll lump this in all sports. If you are a sports reporter, you would not be doing your job. You're doing your audience a disservice if you are looking at the coronavirus in a realistic perspective and writing and talking to people about the virus's impact on playing the sport. And this weekend, of course, it's happened a lot, but this, I don't know why this one really set me off, but Joe Klatt over the weekend tweeted that basically he's excited to see that players are finally pushing back. The media has been pushing negativity. The media has been really trying to take down the season, and now he's excited to see players put back. I'll read you the exact tweet right here because it is so disingenuous. It is so absurd to have this line of thinking, and it's partly the reason why we are where we are. It is part of the reason why we are in this country where we cannot get a handle on the virus. We still are basically spinning our wheels and are still way behind the rest of the world. This is Joe Klatt's tweet from the other day. Many in the college football media have worked hard to push panic and fear. Seeing many prominent players push back tonight, good for them. Joel, I understand you want to have a college football season. I want to have a college football season. Bill Bender wants to have a college football season. College football reporters want to have a college football season. Reporting the facts, reporting the challenges that college football faces in the wake of a pandemic is doing your job. It's not rooting for your job to fail. It's living in reality. It's pointing at the facts. Could you imagine from March to now, if all sports reporters did was put on rose-colored glasses, ignore the virus, and talk about how, excited they are for their sports to return. Once they do return, there's going to be no bumps. Imagine baseball reporters were talking about how, oh man, the teams are going to be fine. Players are going to be fine. We're going to get the season off and hitch, no big deal. And you watch the Marlins and the Cardinals have outbreaks, you would lose your mind. Games postponed. The season was almost shut down 3 days into the year. Could you imagine if you kept reading articles, reading tweets, and it was all positivity, it was all basically ignoring the virus, not taking it seriously, and instead just propping up the sport? We'll be fine. The NFL, no problem. Forget that football is the ultimate super spreader sport. Forget that snot, spit, sweat, heavy breathing, close quarters. Forget that that's basically the entirety of a football game. And if one player is asymptomatic on the field, the odds of everyone else getting it are very high. Forget that. Forget college football. No bubble, less testing resources, and having kids on campus. Screw it. It'll be fine. Could you imagine where we are? I feel shocked. Again, we've had shows talking about the challenges college football faces. And I feel a little bit blindsided, to be honest, about the timing of this all. Bill Bender, someone who lives in reality, someone who's doing his job as a reporter, isn't shocked because he saw this coming. He kept asking the question, how are we going to play college football with a pandemic going on? So he's not blown away. He's not mind blown. He's not shocked. But if I'm personally feeling shocked right now that the season is basically dead in this fall, while sports reporters have done their job in reporting the facts about the virus and the challenges that these sports face in returning, imagine we didn't hear about that. Imagine there was nothing to bring us down to reality. Imagine there was no reporting that really tried to give us an honest truth, the cold, hard truth that we need to hear. And instead it was just, rainbows and lollipops. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Let's start breaking down the rosters. Let's start breaking down these non-conference games that are definitely going to happen. Imagine how heartbroken, how frustrated we would be. Because guess what everyone else would be saying? Guess what everybody else, me, you, any other viewer, and I'm sure guys like Joe Klatt, I'm sure guys like Kyle Brandt would be saying to those people who quote or believe that media, by doing their job, is rooting for the virus and is rooting for sports to fail. You know what they'd be saying right now? If for the last 5 months, all reporters were talking about was the positives of sports returning? Or the likelihood that sports will return without any issues? They'd be freaking out. Reporters aren't doing their job. We feel heartbroken because guess what? The media lied to us. The fake news media. We would feel led astray because for 5 months we didn't hear the truth. So props to those reporters, and there's a lot of them, thankfully, that reported on the facts, that laid out the realistic challenges that schools, that teams, that sports face in trying to play amidst a pandemic. So shame on guys like Joel Klatt. Shame on guys like Kyle Brandt, Danny Cannell, and a bunch of others throughout these last few months that are trying to shame reporters that are doing their job and try to frame them as rooting for the virus, rooting for their own sport to fail. The sport that they cover for a living to fail because they weren't all happy-go-lucky. They weren't all pandering to all of us who want to see sports back. They lived in reality. And I can only imagine what the reaction would be if no one or if everyone had the same mindset as Joel Klatt. Oh, you say anything negative, you're rooting for the virus. Do you feel happy? Do you feel happy that college football is dead? Should I ask Bill Bender that? Is he happy that the sport he covers for a living is dead for this fall? Are you happy that there's layoffs all throughout the sports world? It's insanity. It is insanity. It is so frustrating. And again, this has happened time and time again on social media. I understand Twitter is what it is. There's a lot of attention, look at me sort of tweets on Twitter. It's really a pissing contest to a certain extent. How can I say something that's going to get the most reaction? People are going to look at me. I'm going to get the attention that I want. I'm going to stand out amongst the millions of users. So I just want to get that off my chest. Very frustrating that, again, people who are doing their job are getting framed in a bad way. Framed as rooting for the virus instead of just living in reality. So, thank you for letting me vent here a little bit. Unbelievable. The 2020 is just, what's up is down, what's down is up. Again, I said this before, we can't agree on anything. And even now, reporters doing their job, people can't agree upon whether they're actually doing their job or rooting for their own industry to fail. Insanity. It's insanity. That's 2020. Basically, it is the opposite. If you're a Seinfeld fan, George Costanza, the opposite episode, does everything opposite. This is 2020. Everything that seems right is wrong. Everything that doesn't make any sense now all of a sudden is the prevailing thought. But, oh man. Well, speaking of 2020 and the wackiness that has been this year, let's keep it going. Let's talk about the weirdness, the craziness that's happened. 2020 Apocalypse Final Four. The number 1 seed, Joe Pidell. The number 5 seed, Lauren Clark. Only one advances to the championship round and take on the 3 seed, Sarah Troncalli. We'll see who goes to the finals next, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value, market market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors, LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC, annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network, LLC.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It's time to wake up with the Morning Boys on Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
It is time. We've had a great 2020 Apocalypse postseason so far. Overtime, buzzer beaters, walk-off wins. And we have seen so far one person punch their ticket. That is the 3-seed Sarah Chonkali. She is marching on to the finals. Try to claim the 2020 Apocalypse champion. We'll see who will face her in the championships. Number 1 versus number 5. We'll introduce the top seed, the number 1 man himself. By the way, the only person we've ever delayed 2020 Apocalypse for. We've had the show since it started. since the first episode. We've had it every Monday and every Thursday that there's been a show. As you heard last week, there was no 2020 apocalypse. This man moves mountains and he also moves a show. He is the #1 seed, the great Joe Pidell, the moot court, about to be champion, maybe 2020 or apocalypse champion. Joe, what is up?
What's up, everyone? Thank you for pushing it back.
You have a lot of pull. You're the only man, like I said. How does it feel?
It comes with the 1 seed, you know?
It comes with the 1 seed now. We got to ask. We did push it back because of a big moot court, a lot of energy focused towards that. Do we have the finals yet? Where are we in terms of, being #1 in the country in debates?
Nah, not #1, top 10. We got knocked out, but it was top 10, so that's good enough.
Did you beat those jerks at Northwestern?
No, sadly they all took top 3.
Oh man, yeah, Joe. It was like you listed some of the competitors on talking. It was Northwestern was in there. Was it Harvard?
Yeah, Harvard, UPenn, all of them. But it's okay. The #1 competition stays Lauren.
Look at that. Forget Northwestern, Harvard, Law. Forget all of them. The biggest competition this man will face in the last few weeks is the 5 seed. We haven't had many Cinderellas, but we will call her Cinderella as the 5 seed. The only real upset we've had so far, it is Lauren Clark. We'll see if she can continue Cinderella and see if the shoe fits one more time. Lauren, what's up?
Hi. What a great, I feel I'm blessed. I'm ahead of Harvard in competition. Wow.
Yeah, how's your ego? Look at that. You are a bigger threat than Harvard Law, than UPenn Law, than Northwestern Law. Smart girl.
Yeah, head is pretty big now. Can't lie.
Yeah, mine's getting crushed. Yours is getting bigger. It's fine.
Well, see, maybe this is a great strategy by Joe. Hype up Lauren, get overconfident, and then just
and then
pull the rug out from under her. We'll see which strategy pays off. So, as you guys have played, just like college football has done to all us fans, pull the rug out from under us, Joe is trying to do the same with Lauren. That is painful. It hurts because it's true.
It's too soon for this guy. He's going to collapse.
Yeah, it is too soon for sure. Oh, man. All right, so as we know, both of you are on the phone. You played before. We'll play at 5. Joe, since he's the top seed, will answer first. Sorry, #1, then Lauren will go #2, and we'll alternate #5. We have overtime. I don't believe either of you have gone overtime yet. Is that correct?
I did. I think I did.
Oh, you're right. I apologize. Joe has. So Joe knows overtime. We'll see if Lauren gets there. Best score to 5 wins. We will go to overtime and see who will advance to the 2020 or Apocalypse Finals. Are you both ready to go?
Ready as we can be.
All right, Joe. We will start with you. A Wisconsin man crashed his car into a motorcyclist and ended up killing the rider on purpose because he was white. 2020 or Apocalypse?
2020.
Wow. All right. 2020 it is. He's going just like that. No explanation, no thought process. 2020. Lauren.
Got to make Lauren think,
Wow, look at the strategy is coming on in.
I'm going to go Apocalypse because I haven't heard of this, but who knows?
We have differing answers. So far, Joe Pidell, the 1 seed is correct. He is correct. This is unfortunately a real story. A man who he is of Hispanic heritage was very upset because I guess he has had a lot of racist gestures, remarks made his way, and in order to get revenge, he saw a white motorcyclist and just decided, I'm just going to hit him on purpose, and ended up killing him and didn't hide the fact either. He admitted it to the cops. So sad reality, but unfortunately, because it is 2020, it is reality. So Joe Pidell, yeah. It's a wacky year. Pidell, the 1 seed, up 1-0. Lauren, you will go first for #2. Are you ready?
Yeah.
A trucking company has developed a way to put already built houses on wheels so homeowners who want to travel but are afraid to stay in hotels for fears of COVID-19 can bring their house with them on vacation and stay inside their own house wherever that they end up going on vacation. Is this a real partnership? Is this a real venture? 2020? Or is this just Apocalypse?
I want to say 2020, but then are there guidelines on the size of the house? That's what makes me wonder. I'll go 2020.
All
Not
right.
with confidence, but
You are saying it's real. A trucking company has built and developed a system. Take houses out of the ground, put them on trucks, wherever they want to go on vacation. You're going there to stay.
No, I'm going Apocalypse. That
What?
sounds wrong.
You're changing? Just like that?
Yeah.
Is that your all right? So is apocalypse
Okay, I'm
your
going apocalypse.
final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, apocalypse is final answer. Joe, you heard Lauren flip flop. Which side of the fence are you on?
I'm gonna. You see, I was with her. There has to be like a size limit or something like that. But I'm gonna go with apocalypse as well. That's where I was leaning. So we'll go with it.
Trust in the gut, confidence, conviction. Both of you are correct. Lauren flip-flopping, Joe a conviction. It is fake, made up. There is no way that a trucking company is digging these houses out, putting them on truck beds, and driving them wherever people want to go on vacation. I mean, it could be
you can build a house like that. You can have pieces of a house trucked to build it, but...
Right. Oh, you're 100% right about that. But at least that's why I didn't want to word it like that, because that is a real thing. But there's no business opportunity yet. I hope people listening are taking these notes, because a lot of these things I make up, not to brag, I feel like could be implemented. I mean, I don't know how you would basically dig up a house from the foundation and put it back, but it sounds, it sounds legit. I guess it sounds real.
If law school doesn't work, I gotta think.
Yeah, Joe's ahead of the ball. Yeah, he's got options.
He has options. So far, Joe, you're up 2-1 after 2 questions. You will go first for number 3. A squirrel in Colorado has tested positive, not for the coronavirus, but for the bubonic plague. 2020 or apocalypse?
This sounds like, this is not my answer yet, but this sounds so 2020 at this point. Squirrel has the bubonic plague.
A squirrel in Colorado tested positive for the bubonic plague. The Great Plague back in the Middle Ages that wiped out a ton of the living citizens there.
This is tough because it feels like, okay, I'm hoping that's just out of our current times, but it just sounds so possible. You know what? We're going to go for it. 2020.
All right. Bubonic plague in Joe's mind is back. The coronavirus here, screw. Why not bring the bubonic plague back? Bring it back from the dead. And a squirrel in Colorado tested positive for it. Joe saying this is a real story 2020.
This could be a blonde moment. I'm not really sure.
Lauren, what are you thinking here?
2020. 2020.
Are you saying with confidence? Are you going to change your answer?
Confidence.
So you know this is a real story.
Yeah.
You would be correct. This is a real story. The bubonic plague is back. So the coronavirus wasn't enough. All this crap that's gone on in 2020 isn't enough. Let's bring back a virus and a plague that's been, I thought, dead for centuries. And we're talking the Middle Ages here. Was when you learn about the bubonic plague, but it is back, at least in Colorado. And this is a real 2020 story. Joe, you are 3 for 3 so far.
3 for 3. They're trying to make quarantine more interesting,
That's true. And Lauren, you're right. Killer hornets. These animals, man. The murder hornets. Bubonic plague and squirrels. It's. If we all make it out alive, honestly, that we might have to have like a trophy or a party or something, because this sounds like the world is doing everything possible to kill us.
Well, it'll be 1999 all over again.
Why 2K? But yeah, exactly. Why 20? Something. That's a good. Oh boy, we laugh because it's sad. It is scary. That's for sure. But with that said, Joe is 3 for 3. He has a 3-2 lead over Lauren. Lauren, you'll go first for number 4. Big one here. Now, if Lauren gets this wrong, Joe gets it right. Joe is in the finals. So just so we're on the same page here, a big potential for a close right here for Joe Pidell. Lauren, no pressure.
Yeah, wow, jeez.
But here we go. Monkeys have taken over a Thailand city, frightening residents so much that citizens have avoided leaving their homes, and even the police have given up trying to control the monkeys. Is that 2020 or apocalypse?
2020.
No words. She sounds confident. Should I ask you, is that your final answer?
Yes, final answer.
Okay, final answer. She's going 2020. Joseph Pidell, with a possible chance to win it here. What are your thoughts?
I need you to say it again. I feel like I keep hearing it wrong.
No worries. All good. I can repeat as many times as you need. So monkeys have taken over a city in Thailand, frightening residents so much that citizens have avoided leaving their homes, and even the police have given up trying to control the monkeys. So essentially, have monkeys taken over a Thailand city? 2020 or apocalypse?
I'm gonna go 2020 as well.
All right, so win or lose, right or wrong, we will still have at least a question number 5. You both are correct. Crazy enough, it is 2020 after all. Monkeys have actually taken over in Planet of the Apes style, have taken over a Thailand city. Could you imagine that?
Oh, man.
Imagine that. Like, forget quarantining because the virus is socially distant. You couldn't leave your house because the monkeys, and in the article, monkeys were actually attacking people, which is why they wouldn't even leave their homes. Could you imagine that?
No. We don't even have any money. We don't have one monkey.
Thank God, honestly. I mean, for real. If they're talking, who knows? I mean, if they unionize, whew, we are all in trouble. We all may never be able to leave our homes ever again.
Pro-union, you know.
Pro-union, except when it comes to monkeys, because they may honestly take over the world. And at least for one city in Thailand, these poor residents can't even, they are getting run down and taken over by primates. So Joe is 4 for 4. Lauren's 3 out of 4. So Joe's a 4-3 lead. He will go first. A chance to win it and go to the finals. You get it right, you're in. If you get it wrong and Lauren gets it right, we have a tie and we'll go to overtime. So Joe will go first. Here's number 5. Drake, the singer, the rapper, the pop star Drake, has announced that he is partnering with the CDC to put out a song that educates the youth on why the coronavirus should be taken seriously. 2020 or apocalypse?
Sounds like a Drake thing, doesn't it? All right. So Drake's partnering with the CDC?
Yes, to essentially create a song that educates the youth on why coronavirus should be taken seriously. Wearing masks, washing hands, socially distant, and he'll somehow, put some beats, put some lines in there, and make it appealing for the kids,
Oh, this is a tough one. I'm gonna say apocalypse.
All right, Joe is going apocalypse. This is fake. Lauren, what are your thoughts?
I want to say 2020 because I feel like in the age of TikTok, the age of these youths, I think I'm going 2020.
You're going, this is a real story. Joe's going the apocalypse. If Joe's right, unfortunately, Lauren, for you, the game is over. If Joe is wrong, we will have overtime. Unfortunately for Lauren Clark, Joe Pidell is right. The number 1 seed advances. This is a fake, made-up, not real story. Drake is not partnering with the CDC. There is no coronavirus song that's coming out to educate those kids these days.
No
those
hotline
kids.
bling.
No hotline.
Featuring who's it? Robert Redford? Is he the CDC president or something like that? I think so. I think that's his name. Yeah, that or that's the name of an actor. Hold on, let me see.
Robert Redford's definitely the actor. But
Oh yeah, he is. Who is the CDC?
I was imagining Drake on Sesame Street or something. I was like, there's no way.
Who is it then? Robert Redfield. Ah, damn it. Robert Redfield. Okay, we were close. No, there's no Robert Redfield cameo in Drake's new single, that's for sure. So, Joe Pidell, congratulations, sir. The number 1 seed advances. You will take on the number 3 seed, Sarah Troncali, winner, possible champion of 2020 Apocalypse. What is going through your mind? You focused on Lauren, and you got the job done. How does it feel?
I just turned my attention away from those IVs, and focused on this big moment.
Those IVs have nothing on the focus and attention that it takes to compete and win in 2020 Apocalypse. Lauren, I have good news for you. It's not all over. Third place still gets a prize. You'll take on the 2 seed Cody Enos if you so want to. Is that something that you're interested in? Okay. So
anything for the money.
And this. Yeah, that sounds on brand. She is a gold digger. Unfortunately for you, unfortunately for you, the sports is not really exactly the field where all that money is gonna be ringing in. So I apologize. And Beth,
I'll get out now.
Lauren, I also hate to say you had a fan. Beth writes on Facebook, "Go Lauren." Well, she's probably disappointed.
Oh,
We're disappointed.
she's probably tuned out already.
Probably.
Start
Joe.
going downhill fast.
Yeah. It is all going downhill for you, Lauren. But hey, you'll still have a chance at third place. So you're still live in the money. Joe, we congratulate you. We'll see you in the finals for a chance to take on the 2020 Apocalypse crown. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Congrats, Joe. That's why you're in law school and I'm not.
Yeah, I wish I learned that. Good game, Warren.
Wow, look at that sportsmanship here. That's what you love to see. Great sports. They battled it out, and now shaking hands after and congratulations. Look at that. That's what you love to see. That is sportsmanship at its finest right there.
Coming for the finals, though. Don't get it twisted.
Sarah, I hope you're listening. I hope you're reading the news, because Joe Pidell is coming for you. He is coming. And we will definitely look forward to that. The number 1 seed versus the number 3 seed in the finals of 2020 Apocalypse. Congratulations, Joe. Lauren, we'll see you for the 3rd place game, and we appreciate you playing. Thanks so much.
Thank
you, guys.
The great Joe Pidell, the great Lauren Clark. Joe Pidell. 5th question gets it right, and he is in the finals. We congratulate Joe. Be a ton of fun to see the number 1 versus the number 5 seed. I believe how we're going to do it, we got to make sure, obviously, as you hear, Joe, very busy schedule. Man who's juggling law school, fighting off Northwestern, beating Harvard, taking it to UPenn. So we got to juggle that busy schedule. Hopefully next Thursday, I'm off on this upcoming Thursday. It's my dad's birthday, so I'll give him a shout out if he's listening. Happy birthday, Dad. Going on a little Montauk vacation to celebrate his day of birth, so there will be no show on Thursday. So the goal is have a 3rd place match on Monday and the finals. The last time, hopefully, 20 or Apocalypse will ever be played. Because that means that we're coming out of it. This year has gotten less weird. But and hopefully the last game will be next Thursday between Joe and Sarah. We'll make sure those schedules are updated and obviously let you know. When we come back, congratulations to Joe Pidell one last time. When we come back, I want to get into this earlier, but didn't have time. Does golf need Tiger Woods to be relevant? Does golf still need Tiger to grow the game? We'll discuss that and get your thoughts for the PGA Championship of the Morning Boys. Ryan can return right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Setuha Karate. Located at 28 Cold Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com, or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It's time to wake up with the Morning Boys on Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
And we welcome you back here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Wrap it up here on a Monday morning. A very depressing, somewhat surprising in my mind Monday morning. As if you missed the news, first of all, I'm jealous that up to this point you've been unaware and at least had some hope. Because I'll be honest, since Saturday morning, all my hope has been basically vanished, taken away. But college football is on the precipice of getting canceled. Big Ten, Pac-12 are both waiting for something. I don't really know what they're waiting for, but at least in their mind, college football is about to get canceled for this upcoming season. A real shame. Very sad for sure, but we will not, it seems, barring some sort of miracle. And I'm honestly not even sure what that miracle would be. If that miracle would be a coronavirus vaccine, if that miracle would be somehow players getting paid between now and tomorrow? I don't even know. But essentially, college football is all but dead. Took a lot of time. He had Bill Bender on to answer some questions. He is not as surprised, but definitely confused about just the lack of leadership, the lack of preparedness, it seems like, from college football these last 4 or 5 months. Plenty of time to get everything kind of situated, have a plan. And in the end, 5 months of planning, 5 months of discussions led to absolutely nothing. And we will, seems like, again, have no college football this fall. Any thoughts on that? If you're in for the first time, what's your emotions? Again, mine was shock, was sadness, frustration, to say the least, that we want to have, to me, the greatest sport in America. I love college football more than the NFL, more than baseball, more than basketball. It is the number one sport. I've only had one sport to watch the rest of my life, college football by far. So it's definitely, it's been a tough show for sure. Not a lot of fun. That's for sure. We'll see if a spring season happens. I'm not for it. I don't even think it's worth trying. Just wait till next fall. But we'll see the next step here from college leaders, from college administrators. But it seems, at least, the consensus is no college football this fall. So any thoughts? Again, Worldwide Sports Network on Facebook, WWSRN_radio on Twitter. Get your thoughts. I do want to finish here with some golf. The first major of the year, PGA Championship out in TPC Harding Park. So much fun to watch. A great, exciting finish. Colin Morikawa gets it done with one of the best drives we'll ever see, especially considering the circumstances, as he wins the PGA Championship. So I'm curious. Curious your thoughts, because for me, I'm a casual golf fan. I would say, I watch all the majors. I've definitely watched more golf these last few months than, especially some of these smaller tournaments than I normally would. So I would say, pretty average golf fan. Watch the majors, watch a lot of the playoff golf, but not someone who watches a lot of the smaller tournaments, especially some of these really small ones like that start in January and February, I'll be honest. I'm more of a summer golf fan and watch a lot more tournaments. So I'm curious because for me, I don't really need Tiger Woods to be relevant anymore to get into it. I was really into the PGA Championship. I was really into the finish yesterday, despite Tiger being nowhere near the leaderboard. He had a nice opening round on Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday was basically irrelevant. From the national coverage on ESPN and CBS, Tiger was either off the course or towards the end of the course. Essentially irrelevant. Now, they're, of course, still showing highlights, still working his name into the conversation. But essentially, for all intents and purposes, when it comes to winning, he was nowhere close. So I'm curious from you, the viewer, if you're a casual golf fan like myself, you watch the majors, you know some of the names, you'll watch on Sunday, nice lazy Sunday on the couch, you'll get into it. I'm curious your thoughts. Do you still need Tiger Woods to get into golf? Does Tiger need to be relevant in your mind to get into golf? Are you more likely to watch majors? Are you more likely to watch the PGA, the Masters? If Tiger is near the leaderboard on Sunday, if he's in contention, or does that not matter? You want it, you want to watch because there's a lot of great young golfers. Because to me, as a casual golf fan, I don't need Tiger anymore. And I look at the landscape of golf, it's in a really good place right now. And it can, to me at least, continue to grow, continue to expand without the aid from Tiger Woods, without needing him to win another major or two, without needing him at the top of the leaderboard week in and week out. Even if he's not winning, if he's close, I don't need that to watch anymore. Because just going back to yesterday, Tiger was nowhere close. Not relevant at all. But it was one of the best and most exciting finishes you will see in a major championship. At one point last night, in the back nine, you had 7 golfers tied for the lead. 7. All with 5, 6, 7 holes to play. They're talking and they're already going through the scenarios of what a 7-way playoff would look like. Could you imagine? That would have been awesome. Not to mention, then you have one of the best drives we'll ever see in history from Colin Morikawa. Drives it just short of the pin from the tee box. Gets an eagle, breaks away from the pack, and wins his first major at 23. So when I look at golf, when I look at the exciting finish that we just had in the major, when I look at the youth and the talent that's coming up and right now bursting onto the scene, the future is extremely bright. There is way more than enough talent to sustain and grow the game of golf. Because Tiger, outside of the Masters, has essentially been irrelevant since he's really come back these last 2 years. Phil is fun, but Phil is fun. Phil is the fun uncle on the tour. He gives you a laugh anytime he talks. He's a cool guy to be around. But when it comes to actually watching golf, he stinks. Let's be honest. Let's call it for what it is. He really doesn't have it anymore. But, CBS brings on the broadcast. He's making sex jokes. He's sparring with Nick Faldo. It's fun. Phil Mickelson is the fun uncle. But when it comes to actually playing golf, he's not good. So he's not bringing in viewers. Again, Tiger not being anywhere near the leaderboard is not bringing in viewers. But see, that doesn't matter. Because the actual talent on the course, I think, at least for me, but that's where I'd love to get your thoughts, is enough to keep the game going. Is enough to grow the game. Because to me, when I look at the entire landscape of golf, golf is in the same exact position as the NBA, as the NFL, and as the NHL in this aspect. The legend, the GOAT, the guy we have revered, the icon of that respective sport is aging out. And a new wave of youth is coming in. The NBA. Now, LeBron's still playing at an elite level. The Lakers still have greater chances than anyone to win the title. But he's 35 years old. And he's been playing for a very long time. Those legs have a lot of miles on them. So while LeBron still, yes, is still high, still one of the best players in the league. I mean, he'll finish second in the MVP voting this year. The clock is ticking. Time is not on LeBron's side. But that's okay, because guess what? The NBA doesn't need another Michael Jordan or LeBron James, because they have so much talent coming through the pipeline. Devin Booker showing off. Luka Doncic is emerging like the next great star of this game. You have Kawhi Leonard still incredibly talented. You have Kevin Durant. The point is you have a lot of young, talented players coming up and really emerging on their own. Jason Tatum has been great. Joel Embiid is a rock there in Philly. There's enough talent to come up so that once LeBron leaves, you don't need another star player, another icon, another polarizing figure to either love or hate. Because there's enough talent to go around to make the game exciting. The NFL, same thing. Tom Brady's 43 years old. 2 years, I would say, at best, he has left to have a window to at least compete for a Super Bowl. If he wants to play after that, fine, but he won't be anywhere near Super Bowl contention, and he'll be like, to me, Tiger Woods is right now. That's okay. The NFL doesn't need to hold on to Tom Brady because they have a lot of young, blossoming quarterback talent. Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, just to name a few. Russell Wilson's still in the peak of his career. Still have a lot of young quarterback talent that's ready to take over, ready to burst on the scene once Tom Brady's out of the picture. The NHL is the same thing. Connor McDavid's their best player, and he is still very young. The youth that continues to burst onto the NHL scene is amazing. And golf is the same thing. Tiger Woods is aging. He's still playing. He won the Masters last year. He showed you, at least in the first round of the PGA Championship, he can be in contention. Maybe not for 4 rounds, but he can have a round or two that'll put him right there. In some tournaments, he can still win. But I don't think golf needs Tiger to always be atop the leaderboard, to always be in the hunt on Sundays in a major to grow the game, to get attention to the game. The young talent that is currently on the golf scene right now is incredible. Colin Morikawa, 23 years old. 23. I'm a big Brooks Koepka fan. Him and the Bryson DeChambeau rivalry, to me, is good for golf. Some jabs going back and forth. Bryson is a polarizing figure, to say the least. He's good. So he'll be, again, one of those guys that you'll see at the name, and either you'll root for him at the top or you root for him to fail. There's enough young talent. You still have, if they can figure it out, guys like Jordan Spieth. Justin Thomas, very young and very talented. Rory's a guy who, if he can just figure it out, would still be really good. There's enough talent, there's enough names there, to me, where golf doesn't need Tiger Woods anymore to be relevant. Golf doesn't need Tiger 2 shots off the lead on a Sunday for us to tune in. Because guess what? Especially now, I hate to say it, with college football gone and a lot more majors to come in golf, not just this year, but I think there's 7 majors left in the next 11 months. So we're going to have a lot of big-time golf play this next calendar year. I think a lot of us are watching a lot more golf than we would because of college football not being played. And I think once viewers, especially again, if you're a casual golf fan that maybe don't watch as much as the diehard fan, when you see the talent that's out there, when you see the skill level, how high it is, We see even the different styles of play. I think it'll hook you in. So I'm curious. We can continue this discussion on Twitter. Ryan_Hickey, the number 3. Ryan_Hickey, the number 3. Since we're about to get out of here. Are you into golf? Does golf need Tiger Woods to be relevant? Does golf need Tiger Woods to be successful in order to continue to grow the game and gain viewership? I say no. I think there's enough youth. I think there's enough talent. Right now, there's a good competition to where you will have an example like we had yesterday. 7 players tied for the lead on the back 9. That's exciting golf. To me, that will get viewers watching. I'd love to get your thoughts. Again, Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. If you want to tweet me your thoughts, since we're about to get out of here, I'd love to get that. But I'm very curious what the casual golf fan thinks, that if they need Tiger Woods to be relevant or not. So I'll do it for this Monday show. We appreciate it listening. We appreciate Bill Blender coming on and giving us a few minutes here. It was a depressing show. I apologize. It's been not great to have come to the realization that college football is no more. But we'll see what comes from here. We will not have a show on Thursday. Big birthday celebration for my dad. Again, I know he's listening, so we'll say it again. Happy birthday, Dad. I know he loves the attention, so we'll give you one last shout out there. So we'll be back on Monday, a week from today, with all the latest breaking news on college football and everything else that goes on. So sit back, enjoy a great week. We'll talk to you Monday right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.